Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back. Today I am so excited. We are going to be talking about blushes that make my heart happy, that make my soul sing. I love blush a little too much. Not as much as I love concealer. You know, I am a concealer addict, but I do love blush quite a bit, and I love a specific shade of blush. But today I just wanted to share all the blushes that I have that I love with you guys and why I love them. And maybe if you are in the market for a new blush, you can take what resonates with you from this video and go on your merry way and pick up some beautiful blushes. So if that is something you guys are interested in seeing, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start with cream blushes just because those have kind of been my preference recently. I kind of like to layer, start with a cream blush and then stack on some of these other blushes that I'm going to be talking about, the powder ones. But I'm going to start with creams first. And the first one that I want to talk about is the one that I'm wearing today, which is this Profusion, what is this long name? Profusion Blush Hour Soft Matte Liquid Blush in the shade Paloma. This is my kind of color. I love red orange blushes. There's something about them that makes me feel like I'm in Bora Bora, sitting on a beach in a hut with no one around to bother me and a margarita in my hand. That's what these blushes feel like. So I'm always on the hunt for like a nice red orange blush. This one is really good. A little goes a very long way. I actually today put it on the back of my hand and then used my fingers to apply it. I don't really like to use a sponge with any of these blushes just because it's going to soak up a lot of the pigment, and I'd rather just use my finger to melt it right into my foundation. So I love this one. It's wearing really well so far. Like it still looks really good. At the rate that it's going, this has been on for like 3 hours and it still looks like this. So I'm thinking that it's gonna be good. The next one is this Saie Dew Blush in Rosy. This is, I think, the first cream blush I ever bought. So it kind of holds a little bit of a soft spot in my heart, but it has a doe foot applicator and it is a very nude blush. Let me swatch these for you actually. So this is the Paloma one. Super red and gorgeous. And then this is the Saie one in the shade Rosy. They're very different. As you can see, they are very different blushes, but like I said, the Saie one was the first cream blush that I ever bought, so I kind of was playing it safe and getting a shade that I can wear no matter what makeup look I do. This is a very nude, neutral shade. It's really gorgeous. It does kind of, as most of Saie products do, they're a very clean brand, natural beauty brand. This kind of, I don't want to say that it just like blends away when you go to blend it in and it kind of disappears, but it's a very natural looking blush. Like it doesn't look like this one where it's very obvious that I have a lot of blush caked up on my face. This one is not as in your face. You know what I mean? The next one is the LA Girl Soft Matte Cream Blush. This is a new found addiction. This blush, it is so good. This is in the shade Rosebud and it is thick. She thick. Oh, okay. I put way too much out on my arm. But she is stunning. Look at that. It is really pink and it is really pigmented. I put way too much on. This lasts all day, this cream blush. It is so pretty. It doesn't look like this on your face. Like it doesn't look like a neon pink, hot pink on your face. It looks like a very gorgeous natural flush. It reminds me of the Saie one, but it is so much more pigmented and it lasts so much longer, and it's like a fraction of the price. It is such a good drugstore cream blush. If you are thinking about getting into cream blushes and you don't know where to start, I would definitely recommend this one. I think it was like $6, and while the tube may seem small, it's because you don't need a lot, unlike me who put like a pound on my arm. But you don't need a lot with this. It doesn't clog pores. It does have a weird scent to it, but I mean, once I got past that, I didn't really notice it anymore. By the second time, it didn't bother me and it didn't clog my pores, which was important. It is thick, but you can blend it out and make it look very natural, which is good. Okay, the next two blushes that I have are like cream to powder blushes. You'll get what I'm talking about, but they're not exactly creams and they're not exactly powders. The first one is this Milani Cheek Kiss Cream Blush in the shade Nude Kiss. Y'all remember these? These were like really big back in the day and I feel like everyone forgot about them, but it is a cream to powder blush. Let me swatch it for you right here. This again has a bit of a scent to it and it is a bit thicker, but this is a cream blush that mattifies down to a powder, so you don't really have to set it. Not that you have to set any of these, but I just like to. But this one you don't really have to set because it sets itself. But it's a really gorgeous, deeper shade. It's so pretty. This is a nice fall. I mean, you can wear whatever color, whatever time of the year blush, but this is, to me, is a very nice fall blush because it's like a more cooler, deeper undertone. It kind of fits in with the surroundings and the seasons changing and everything. It does, I can't tell if it has a scent or not. I don't really know. But this one, again, I used my fingers. You can use it with a brush. I can only speak on my type of skin tone. I don't really know if you are a lot deeper than me how well it would show up. I implore you all to try it out in the store and do a little swatch-a-roo and see what you get. The next one is something that I was so excited to pick up and then I immediately dropped it and broke it. But I kind of fixed it a little bit. It is the Patrick Ta Double Take Cream and Powder Blush in the shade She's Blushing. Let me pull this down. This is a cream and a powder blush. You have the cream down here with like the little lid, which I think is the smartest idea in the world. And then you have the powder up here, which is a little bit shimmery. And on the box, Patrick gives you like all these different ways that you can apply it to get different kinds of finishes on your face. I like to just do the cream and then the powder and then go on my merry way, but you guys can look into it and figure out what works best for you and what you prefer. Let me swatch the cream for you. This again is a deeper color. The cream is a bit more sheer, but I attribute that to, look, they're almost like the same shade. I attribute that to the fact that there's two blushes in here. Like, you can wear this one on your own, but if you really want to amp it up even more, there's a powder on here to set it with. And let me see if I can swatch the powder. That's the powder right there. I don't know why I swatched them this way. It hurts my arm. Very soft nude color. They both work really well together. I like this product because it is good for travel. If you want to just do an all cream look one night, you can go ahead and just use the cream that's in here. If you just want to do a quick powdering of blush, you can do that. If you want to do both, you have the option to. I think there's a lot of options in this little blush and I love that. I was so excited when I first got my hands on this. I was like dying to try out his blushes because I feel like that's what's like, this product specifically is like what is really popular in his line. Kind of expensive, but in my opinion, I think it's worth it. The last few blushes that I have are all powder blushes. Like I have two powder blushes and then like a palette that I love, which you guys can probably guess what it is if you've seen any of my other videos. The first one is this Essence The Blush in the shade Befitting. I have many of these blushes because they're from Essence and they're like so cheap and the color payoff is so good that I kind of go crazy and buy as many as I can get my hands on. But this is a really good blush. It's very pale. Like it's very, I think out of all the blushes that I've shown you, this is the lightest one that I own. However, you can build it up. This doesn't really look powdery at all. You don't really get like a cakiness, which I appreciate. And it's inexpensive. It's small, you can throw it in your bag. I've had this for a while and I still have not run out yet, even though it is a small package. And I think that's because like as much as I put on my brush and as many layers of this blush that I go in with, the product like doesn't disappear. I don't know how or why, I don't know what the deal is, but like you can use a lot of this and not look like you're using a lot of it. These are good to like throw in your bag because they're so small and so cheap that they're just a good bag blush that you can touch up throughout the day. These don't last as long as the other ones that I've shown you because it's a powder, and as you guys know, the powder blushes are always the first to go on your face, so just be warned. If you pick up this blush, it's not gonna last very long. The next one is this e.l.f. Primer Infused Blush in the shade Always Rosy. Half of these blushes that I have are called Rosy or something with Rosy. I wonder why. But it's in the shade Rosy. This again is a very, doesn't last very long, but I think it does last longer on my face than the Essence one because it is a primer infused blush, which I think makes a pretty decent difference. You know, I think it does help it last a little bit longer on my face. This is a bit darker, although it's not coming across that on camera. It's like a little bit darker than this one right here. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's a bit darker. I like this one, but it is so easy to go overboard, which of course I do do all the time because that's just me. But this one you really only need a little bit because it goes a very long way, and it's super easy to kind of abuse this powder and then end up looking like you have sunburn. Again, a very nude blush. Can only speak for the skin tone that I have and myself when I say that it looks really pigmented on my skin. I implore you all, again, to go check them out and swatch them for yourselves on your wrists and arms and stuff. But it's really pretty. When I'm looking for a nice nude blush that's gonna last throughout the night that isn't a cream blush, like this is a good one to stack because the primer is infused, so it's a good one to stack like on top of the Saie cream blush. Like the two work very well together, you know. The final blushes that I have are actually a palette. It is the Makeup Revolution and Roxi palette. This was so inexpensive and it is the greatest investment of my life because it has so many flippin' options. Granted, some of them I can't really use, like this one I can't really use. It's a little too light for me and I don't really know that my skin would pick it up at all, but like all of these right here, like this one, this one, this one, these are all shimmers, so I don't use them as much. As you guys know, I don't really wear highlighter or any of that, but like all of these right here are so pigmented and so stunning. Like this one right here is what I put on top of the Paloma cream Profusion cream blush today, and it was like the perfect match. I love this palette specifically for summertime because this blush right here and like these two also, I mean like all of them, they work really well for summertime. They're a nice coral color. They just look like you came from laying out in the beach and you have a nice, not sunburn, but like glow, healthy glow to your face. I love this palette very much. I bring it with me anytime someone wants me to do their makeup because there's a lot of different options in here and you get a good bang for your buck. Even if you don't use the ones that I don't use, you have 4 blushes in here, you know? Definitely worth it. This palette makes me so flippin' happy. Blushes last a pretty decent amount of time on my face, especially if I stack them on to the other cream blushes, which I do a lot, honestly, especially in the summer when it gets like hot and humid and gross. It's really good to like use both of these in tandem because then your blush lasts like all day. So those are all the blushes that make me happy. I love them very much. I think I'm becoming more of a cream blush fiend because I just like the way that it looks on my skin right now at this point in my life. I hope that you all enjoyed. I would love to know what your favorite blushes are. If you have not already, make sure that you are subscribed and that you hit the little bell so you are always notified when I put out a new video. And I believe that is all for today's video, you guys. I hope that you all enjoyed. I hope that I made you just as much of a blush fiend as I am. And I think that's it. So I will see you guys all in my next one.